Hello, you're watching Avenue X, and this is a combination final review video on two recently finished airing Chinese dramas. 点燃我,温暖你, Lighter and Princess, 卿卿日常, New Life Begins. Both dramas are web dramas, one aired on Youku, the other one on 爱奇艺. This one is a contemporary romantic drama. This one is a fictional period setting drama. Although that looks very different, they actually have something that they share that I will talk about later in this video. But before that, let's do the divide and conquer thing. I'll talk about Lighter and Princess first, and then New Life Begins, and it's coded in a time bar. Jump to the point where you want to. Now let's start with 点燃我温暖你, previously known as 打火机与公主群, Lighter and Princess, based on an existing romantic novel led by Chen Feiyu and Zhang Jingyi. Last time I made my video, first impression, was when I watched the first third of the drama. My final verdict on this drama, in terms of my 7-level rating, I'll give it a 1 gold mine. There's definitely a lot of things this drama could improve on, but overall, it did please quite a lot of people, and I see why people have that kind of reaction. I'm just gonna talk about a couple of points. In my first video, I didn't mention one thing that really helped this drama is the music. The drama has many OST written, and they're all quite suitably designed and written for the story, for the acting, for the moments, for the editing. And no wonder, because it's done by old friend from Avenue X's drama watching years, Chen Xueran and Luo Kun. These two people are the two music writers for the 2018 milestone Chinese BL adaptation drama, Guardian. 镇魂. Do you still remember? I think everybody watching my video who's been with my channel for long enough, since 18, you know what Guardian is like to me. And everybody who liked that drama would unanimously, I think, agree. The music was so well written. It's kind of beyond the quality of the drama itself. And it almost is too big and too good for that kind of low budget and sometimes pretty aggravatingly bad production. They have actually been working for a lot of dramas since then in Chinese dramaland. But this drama is, again, their collaboration, and they did most of all the songs you can hear from it, whether it's with lyrics or not, I think. And it really worked well. Particularly one of those ending songs, because there are multiple ones, but there's one that's sung by two people, male and female singer, The Falling You. Has anybody realized that that song has so much of a Korean romantic drama vibe? The music shows up and immediately it reminds you of Goblin, it reminds you of While You Were Sleeping, it reminds you of W. Anybody who's dabbled in that, you know. It just shows that the music writers just knows exactly what they're doing. They so understand the genre, almost every pre-existing things in this genre, and how to use on the type of expectation people have for this type of content and just push it to maximum. I would love to hear a Korean cover of that song. The second thing that I think made me being able to actually stick through 36 episodes is overall the people look very pretty. Whether it's the male lead, female lead, or a couple of important supporting roles, even the bad guys, like the two essential bad guys. You know, taking away the fact that they're very despicable people in their own ways, they're also pretty camera friendly. Okay, so visually this drama is enjoyable, shallow but true. Okay, that's what audiences want. So these things made me watch through the drama. But in terms of as a dramatic storytelling piece of work in visual media 2022, it's still lacking in many things. Number one is it's too long. Does not need to be 36 episodes with its content. At least cut 6 episodes off. Like 30 episodes is more than enough. Then the other thing makes my entire watching experience very not heavily engaged emotionally or intellectually or anything wise is something that I've mentioned in my first video, which is I really do not quite buy into the type of relationship that our two leads have. And that ties into the things that I want to talk about, which both dramas I'm talking about today share at a fundamental level, which is a way of expectation of the female role of a story always being placed at a more sacrificial position. And it's almost expected. And it's a type of virtue that the story gives you the sense that it encourages it or it actually glorifies that. The male lead, the way that he can act in such a proud and, even when he's in prison, as if the whole world is under his control way. If we take out the logic of that, that doesn't make sense to start with. Say if it's all valid that a guy like that can exist in this world, it still begs the question of why should a female lead really think he is such a good fit for her? Like, what is that attractive about this guy that makes you wanna really give up so much of yourself? Her mental health. And in the original story, it will be even worse. The kind of like level of destruction that the guy has caused her. She is just so bravely and willingly sacrificing so much from her end. And the story is almost hinged upon that kind of love, and you know, that's the delicious romantic pain that people want. But why should it be like that? Why should it make sense to sell a love story on that type of unbalanced sacrifice coming from one side of a relationship? And honestly, what did the male lead do to basically make him so deserving of that type of treatment? I don't quite get it. You can say that as time goes on, you get older, you become more sophisticated with quotation mark, and also cynical. And you can say that. Maybe that is the case. But I also think no matter it's man or woman, right, in any kind of relationship, it's never really making sense or a good thing or worth encouraging to have one person completely dismantle their personality, their internal and external existence for the sake of another person. By doing that, who does it benefit? Does it benefit yourself? I don't see how. And does it really benefit the other person? If that person has any level of conscience, it would be a heavy burden to put on that person because you do that much for them and they cannot really, in any real sense, repay you. It's not healthy. It's not worth it. The Chinese idiom, ancient wisdom says, 相濡以沫不如相忘于江湖. When two fish are trapped in a dried up pond and they try to survive, so they're wetting each other with their saliva. The wise person says, if we have to get to that point, we might well be living in a normal lake and having our own healthy, comfortable life and never have met. Anyway, so for this type of love story that really sells on that high pressured and having people sacrifice so much to get the final love as the last reward of things, I am no longer a fan of that type of storytelling. That's why I think I cannot fully get into the story and fully enjoying it and go with the flow of it. And I think one last thing that contributes to my overall very lukewarm reaction to it is both leads acting are not yet at the level where they could pull off such an intense, right, on the page level romantic story. So that would be my final opinion on the drama Lighter and Princess. Now let's move on to talk about 亲亲日常, New Life Begins. This is a 40-episode drama, and when I made my first impression on it, it has finished its first concentrated dosage of releasing episodes. My final verdict on this drama, I'll give it a 2 gold mine on my 7-level scale. I think there is a little bit inflation in that rating, but I don't think it's fair to put it on the same level as all the 1 gold mine drama I've rated. I think it's definitely better than that. So it's gonna be a 2. And the inflation part is the one essential big thing of this drama after I've watched the whole thing that I have a problem with. But let me first talk about a couple of other not so essential points, but while I was watching, I had very strong reaction to. Number 1, I wish they could do more of the puppy shot of that dog. I just really like that puppy. And unfortunately later he didn't, or her, I don't even know the gender, but puppy didn't show up that much. Second thing, actually I don't 磕白敬亭 and 田曦薇 CP. I don't ship them at all. I actually feel 田曦薇's role and 刘令姿's role, 李薇 and Yuan Ying, I much more ship them. I feel so sad when they have to separate. They go to Yuan Ying's homeland, that whole marriage contract gets dissolved. I actually was really saddened by it. And when I saw Bai Jingting standing on the side and when the two girls are saying goodbye, I'm like, you can't leave. You don't need to be in the picture. Right now, I don't need to see you. Actually, yours just so extra. That's my honest reaction. I wonder how many people watching my video has the same reaction. Then this drama has many rather happy moments. Particularly, you see all the women in this story triumph in their own ways, flipping the traditional trope. All the things that are positive about this drama are quite obvious, and I think generally this drama has such a good response from the audiences, and it did get quite popular on iQIYI for these reasons. I remember when I first saw the trailer of this drama, I thought it's just gonna be a funny domestic period drama that doesn't have much to add on to that genre. And when I actually got into the drama, I realized it did a lot of things far exceeding my expectation. Definitely not meaning to put down this drama for what it has done right. And its popularity has proven that it's overall very successful work and probably performed much better than the people who are involved in this production, their own expectation. I don't think anybody really hoped this drama is gonna go anywhere near to its current popularity. So all in all, it's definitely on the positive end of things. But there's one essential problem of this drama. And I think my audience is, if you've watched through all 40 episodes, you will see it. It's quite obvious, which is what I call an intentional, romanticized, idealized, enlightened version of women's struggle in this world. It reduces the severity, the type of price that in reality, in this world, even right now, the women have experienced and still experiencing the unfair treatment, the injustice, the patriarchal society imposed on this gender and this half of population. The drama essentially is a current popular value of gender equality packed together and injected into a fictional period Chinese-like setting drama. The women are mouthpieces and specific examples that are used to carry all those current popular values, and they are destined to win and triumph. And the story is doing that to show you the positive and overall way too positive and rainbow and unicorn version of this struggle that has been going on for thousands of years and still going on. Today we know what's going on in this world, this year, what's going on in certain places in the world. I don't need to point that out to you. If you have internet, you know. I don't think the intention of doing that is wrong, but I think the way they did it is in such an idealized way that it cancels out, actually, the sacrifice and severity of the actual situation in our world. I'm not saying for romantic period setting Chinese drama that it needs to shoulder this heavy thing on itself. But then offering such an easy way out, because of what we have in reality, I just can't quite sit very comfortably with this romanticized version of things where all the bad guys in this story are actually not that bad, are just so easily convinced that they turn on the good side soon enough. And all the hefty prices in reality women have to pay for thousands of years are still paying today in the drama version. The worst case is Hao Jia's role, where she gave birth to a daughter that she decided to name her after herself and left the guy without a dime. Like, that's the worst punishment she gets. Every other woman who have their own versions of struggle against the system really didn't have to pay much. And all the male roles, who are the symbols for all different versions of patriarch, are just so easily toppled. It is the creators trying to be clever and way too clever, taking advantage of the current popular political discussions in this world and cashing in on that. Intentionally turn all those tropes on its head at every occasion possible that the writer intentionally does the anti-trope thing, that in itself this action becomes a tropey action because it's forced and it doesn't honor the actual prices people pay in history and even in today's world to get even a much less than that improvement. So I feel the creators are just being too clever. I'm not sure if they have thought that much, or maybe they're just doing it because they know as long as we do this, we're gonna be so easily going on trending. Because see, this time the official wife and concubine doesn't fight against each other. They come together and fight against the husband. We're gonna get a lot of trending hashtags, a lot of traffic, a lot of recommendation coming from the watchers of the drama. Maybe they're just doing it for that sake. But they may not have thought that deeply about, by presenting this rainbow and unicorn version of the difficult struggles we actually have in this world, they are being, in a sense, disrespectful for the actual sacrifice that happens. From the creative people's perspective, writers and show creators, when you do things with such clear and deliberate intention, it begs the question that are you a genuine creator? Or are you just trying to be cheating the system and kissing up the asses of the audiences and flattering them? Because you know this is something they want to see, so you just like give that to them without actually thinking the logic of whether any of those things that you have in your story can happen. It really just makes the struggles become very empty slogans, right? And the story becomes a very skid across the pond sort of effort of talking about what they want to talk about, and the actual monster that's still in the deep pond is still there. And it never actually even got disturbed. It's pretty childish and naive to think, such as the scene in the drama where Tian Xiwei's role is arguing with all the customers of this restaurant is run by women. So what? And she just say a couple of lines and then it's all kind of solved. Everybody's happy. And they're like, okay, fine. Yeah, that works. In reality, in any country, any world, when a woman comes out and challenges the male's idea about what is proper and not proper in their society. Come on. So all that, I think, is the biggest problem with this drama, which is why I wouldn't really want to rate it any higher than what it is. I think it's also just because the drama did it too intentionally. 40 episodes, every plot turning point they do it, that it becomes too obvious to not see. Also, at the end of that, when you think about it, right, this story, who's the biggest winner of the whole story? Although it has all the girls help girls, all the feminism angle, all the very now values, the person who benefits most is the male lead, and he almost doesn't have to do anything to get that. In terms of court politics, he's naturally more talented than the other guys. He's actually physically quite strong, although he hides it. He has a good teacher, which the other people don't have. And even when he doesn't have such a good relationship with the father, eventually it all got solved. The father really likes him. The mother, although she never had a very close relationship with him, it also easily got resolved, and they kind of got to a much better place than the drama when it first started. Then when Li Wei's role comes into his life, she's just this sweet girl who loves him unreservedly. Then the official wife comes in, and she happens to be just such a perfect and not fuss maker at all, not giving his life even 1 ounce of trouble. Has zero jealousy problem. She's like, I'm here to do business, and actually the greatest thing I want from you is freaking divorce paper. And you don't have to pay anything, just that is enough. And then at the end of the day, the guy gets rid of the woman he doesn't like, and that woman happily just also doesn't take anything from him. The concubine becomes the proper wife and the true love of his life that he's so in love with. And then he also gets the throne and the parents' love. And when you think about actually how much did he really have to work for that in the story? He just defeats every obstacle that comes in his way, almost without having to try much. This drama has so many female roles and so emphasizing on the women's power and stuff. Eventually the biggest winner of that is a guy who really just, by the virtue of being Bai Jingting, good looking, and then Prince, who has just natural attributes that makes him better than everybody else as the candidate, wins the biggest thing. I guess that would be like the limitation of this type of story, because I think at the end of the day they also realized this drama cashes in on the lead's popularity, and they definitely would want fandom to support and to make the central, like, most drawing traffic people in the most positive light possible is an easy way to do that. That's a lot of discussion, way too much thought on two dramas that definitely are not gonna be like milestone works of Chinese dramaland in any sense, but I just happen to see that they share the similar point of view, that unbalanced thing about still, no matter how you dress it up, in this type of genre of storytelling, it's not ever a fair relationship. It's always the women, the female, just have to sacrifice that much more. As long as at the end they get the perfect relationship and happily ever after ending, therefore as if it's all just valid and fine, and the guy really doesn't have to do anything. That would be the end of my final review on Lighter Princess and New Life Begins. What do you think? Share your opinion. Please take care. I'll see you in my next video. Meanwhile, live long and happy drama watching.